In a previous video, I showed you how you could move objects by snapping to the grid. However, Blender also has other options for snapping. And the snapping dialog you actually find down here where my mouse is. Currently, this icon stands for grid. You also can snap to a vertex, an edge, or a face, or a volume. So for example, let's turn edge. If I select this cube and, for example, press G, so I can move my object around, and then I move close to this cube and press Control, you can see that now it snaps to the edge of that cube. And you see now I can move my cube up and down along this edge, or move it left and right along this edge. Let's say I would like this upper edge to be lined up with this lower edge here. Then the easiest way is to first position my object below, like this. Then I press G, move my object to the position or the area where I would like it to snap to, and then snap by pressing the Control key. Because the reason why I have to do it this way is if I, for example, come from the right and then move it to here, I snap the complete object to everything here on my second cube. So Blender doesn't really know, do I want this edge to snap to this edge or this edge snap to this edge? Which is why then first position your object to there, because now this edge is closer to here, and for Blender it's easier to figure out that this is the way how you want the snapping to be done. And if I go, for example, to Vertex, press G and snap, you see that it snaps now to each corner point. So at each point of a cube you have a vertex. And here I employ the same methodology. If I would like one edge to be lined up with another edge, I pre-position my object so that Blender has an easier way in understanding how I would like my objects to be lined up by snapping vertex to vertex. And you see also with the vertices snapping, they perfectly line up. I mean, it's the same cube. It's like pushing one cube perfectly next to the other cube. In face, for example, that means I can position an object on the face. In this situation, it's maybe difficult to understand what is really happening. So I'm going to make this cube a little bit smaller. And then press X for the constraint. And then, for example, see when I move it closer here and press G, there you see that this object is now positioned somewhere on this face. Do you have the snapping turned on permanently during transformation so you don't have to press Control? You can, if you want to, turn it on by clicking on the magnet icon, the small red one here. And now if I press G, you see I don't have to press the Control key to actually snap, for example, to the grid. If I flip to edge, you see that it snaps to the grid based on where I move my mouse to. You know, I can move it freely because nothing is there to snap, and then it starts snapping as well. But to be honest, most of the time I never really have this one turned on. Maybe for putting down some basic lines, but otherwise I always press the Control key.